with the simp, right? Doing the romantic gestures that people would deem as, over and extra, but they sometimes feel like they have to compensate because they don't have, the same markers of success, or, whether it's the looks or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, the Pookie and Ray Ray take the back door. They take the back door to the woman's house while they take the front.
A lot of simps too, by the way, don't even have. We're saying so many things. I love this.
Yeah, because there's so much different aspects to this.
Because I was gonna say, like, even a simp is not. For those, in my view, from my interpretation of what I've known to be what people are now terming a simp, I have another term for a BAN, bitch ass nigga, right? So I like that one more than the term simp because a simp should be known as, to me, as a sissy, a woman in a man form, a male with the emotionality of a woman. So when we talk about successful ones and now they're using their money, that's a denomination of simping, right?
So how are they
even underneath that can be tricky.
So those guys, how are they supposed to get pretty women? Let's say they didn't hit the genetic lottery. Without using any financial backing, how are they supposed to get these women? I want to know. I really want to know.
This is so...
No, I'm trying to understand. These guys...
Ask me the question again. What's the question you're asking?
I'm saying that these gentlemen that you're saying that they're bitch-ass niggas...
There you go.
That they didn't hit the genetic lottery.
Yeah.
What's in their toolbox that they can use in order to get these women that they desire without paying through monetary gains that they've gotten through taking the long road to success?
I'll answer it as clear as I can. The system has to change, number one. But number two, competency. Number one, the system has to change. When we look at the Western world in the last hundred of years.
But we have to talk about today. We have to talk about present day. What could they do right now? I'm talking about right now. We're not talking about, back then, 100 years. We're talking about right now.
That's limiting the problem. That's almost trying to, like...
But you're saying you're trying to change the system. The system's here.
No, the system don't need
to be here. It's here right now.
But this is what I'm saying, that to remove the system, this is why history is very important, to remove the system. And I wasn't trying to say, let's go 3,000 years, 2,000 years. I'm saying the last 100 years, especially from feminism. Feminism is, have you not noticed there's a correlation with the rise of feminism and simp behavior. So when I talk about the system is extracting from men in all ways they can, except even in some cases killing them. And they're sometimes doing that. To put at the altar of many women, and societies like Canada is a prime, maybe the prime example in the world now of a system that favors this feministic urge and appetite. I say this to say that that's the system that needs to come down. It needs to come down if people are saying, okay, get to it. What should it be? For those who just can't, who might, can't hear the whole thing in terms of duration. A man needs to find himself with men group. You need to be active politically. You need to go down to your town square, to your legislation building, and you need to protest. The thing about this is men, or most males, are going to hear this, and oftentimes that weakness in them are going to say, here's 55,000 reasons why I'm not doing that on Monday. So the system continues to stay, and it doesn't matter to what degree you're trying to combat that individually. You're never going to get on top of the thing you need to get on top of. So the best way I can give that in another term is inflation. When inflation continues to rise, it doesn't matter if your job gives you $1 pay increase or $2. If they don't match the cost of inflation, you are not beating inflation. People forget that inflation is not just in one store. Inflation is wide-reaching. So the feminism that brought the simping and that brought this demeaning of men is wide-reaching, that one thing that a man can do, if we're saying, oh, just be competent, is not going to be enough in his personal life if I don't have more context with what he got going on. Because if I know more of what he has going on, I'll say, here are some other steps.
But what I'm saying is that we only have so much time to live, right? So that's why I have to put the parameters of today. A man, he has money, so he's built his way up to becoming a successful man. When in his younger years, he wasn't able to get the women that he desired. Right now, women are looking at him different because he has a certain level of economic success.
Chances are women are not looking at him different. Chances are women are looking at him.
Oh, the same, but he's more attractive now because the beauty standards for women when it comes to males is more about where you stand financially, where you stand in terms of status, and where you stand in terms of like your stability, socioeconomic status. So those things are important to a female rather than men. When we're looking at the beauty aspect in terms of physical beauty, they're looking at what this guy can provide for them. So he could still look the same to them, but now that he's more attractive due to what he's achieved and what he now gathered in this world, what should he do with that?
I would say, again, and I hate being the semantic kind of person, I'll say what you're describing is appeal and not attraction. Attraction is a force that would happen, right? Appeal is what this woman is going to try to do. This woman is going to try to extract, right? So this is the problem I'm always trying to show men, because they'll say, oh, hit these, you check out all these Instagram stuffies and these YouTube this, and they'll say, oh, hit the gym and da-da-da-da, be a high-value man. You're not a high-value man if you do not have competency of the mind. Because a woman is going to see that you are high status. Maybe it's the shoes, maybe it's the car, maybe it's your cats, maybe she's going to, these sorts of women, I'm describing very truthfully of what they are these days. They're not your mother's mother. This is a different world. What I'm saying is they will look at you as meals. So they're not going to be like, wow, all I was doing was waiting for you to just get a good job, and now I want to listen to you and submit to your laws and your standards. That's all I've been waiting for my whole life. Like, why didn't you just get the degrees 3 times earlier? Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Right? That's not what it's gonna be.
But so you're asking for like a whole society to be reprogrammed because they would have to understand the female psychology in order not to
the power of feminism. Not to cut you off.
Go ahead, finish your
The
point.
power of feminism is it came like a thief in the night. So people didn't really understand how dangerous it was. And in fact, it was mobilized up to 100 years ago, maybe even further, that we weren't alive. So when we're born in the 90s, even in the 80s for some, it's like we were being breastfed and things of that nature, not knowing this danger. Our parents can't really help us with it because they didn't even live this danger for the most part. They can always say back in my day, it's like, F your day, right? So what I'm saying is, it sounds like too much of a daunting task to say reprogram it. But the short answer is bring down the system. I'll say yes. In terms of your reprogramming claim, I'll say yes. You can't let this continue to live. If it's going to get somebody, it may not get you yet. It's almost like that monster in that scary movie where there's 40 of you guys, then it gets 20 left, and then someone says, I'm gonna go down the hall like an idiot. And you always see, it's like, why is this guy gonna, did you not just see what just happened to the last 3 people? Okay, figure it out. He goes, he's not coming back. Before you know it, you're gonna be the last man standing. I'm trying to say that there's a demonic energy attached to this sort of ideology. It's not going to go away if one man just keeps, there's a saying, men going their own way. If men just keep doing their own thing, somehow just go away because I keep getting girls and hey, it doesn't bother me. It's bothering you because that kind of girl would have said, I was never attracted to him. I was only allowing the appeal so that I can get good to get him on the day he wasn't looking, get all his resources.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But what I would say is that the feminist movement is slowly crumbling without the men having to do much, because now what we're seeing is millennials are now reaching the age of when they're 30 plus, and you're seeing them without no kids, without no marriage, and now they're getting the cats and the dogs, and now you're starting to see the effect.
It's not crumbling. It's even getting stronger.
No, I think what's happening is actually, you may be right, because what I'm noticing is that now Western societies are trying to bring more immigrants into their societies so that it counterbalances the feminist movement. So it almost looks like it doesn't exist, but then they're pumping out more feminism at the same time with the new generation.
As long as they have new generation, you're either the kids
you're right.
in indoctrination, or the fresh off the boat kind of individual.
You pump them out.
And the fresh off the boat are more willing because they're like, compared to where I'm coming from, this is heaven. It's like,
you're
it's
right.
heaven.
You're right. Yeah.
Wait a bit and see what kind of heaven, what kind of sick heaven you've been thinking about.
So basically, to sum up the conversation, it seems